Welcome to the GuthrieAmerica podcast. We sit down with the amazing people who do life in our community because we believe every story should be told. I'm your host, Heady Coleman. Today, I sit down with the one and only, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only. I have him in the building. He goes by Mr. Vacation. Doug Ogle. Doug Ogle's in the building with me. Before we jump into this conversation with Doug, would you please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast and leave a review? It would mean the world to us. Doug, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. You just got back in town from a wonderful Thanksgiving. What's your favorite dish when it comes to Thanksgiving?
Oh, I love turkey. So turkey and dressing and all the fixings that come with it.
Now, do you all do anything special regarding Thanksgiving? Like one of the things we do before we pray, we go around the circle and everybody shares something that they're thankful for. Do y'all have anything that y'all do that's traditional or?
That's what we do at my mother's. We all go around and say something that we're thankful for.
Got you. So this year, have you had the chance to do that, or did you do mom's and?
No, we were not able to do my mom's this year, and so we're just going to do it at Christmas.
Got you. Okay, so since we didn't get to do mom's this year, what are you thankful for?
Oh, thankful for good health, and my mom had a surgery that was very successful, so very thankful for her being able to get through that surgery and being able to come to Zachary's wedding, which was my stepson, and so she didn't know she was going to be able to do that, and she was able to make it.
Nice. That's good. That's great. Now, talking about stepson, I like to call them bonus kids. Our bonus kids, you have a bonus son, just got married. What advice did you give him? What was your one piece of advice to him before he got married? Did you give him any?
The only thing I said is she's always right.
Is that the key to it?
That's the key.
So it's Tina. Your wife's name is Tina. Miss Ogle, school teacher at Guthrie Junior High. Now, she always right?
She's always right.
Now, has there ever been a moment that you walked away and she wasn't right? Like in your head? Or is it she's even in your head, she's always right?
She's probably watching this, so no, she's always right.
That's good. How long you and Tina been married now?
7 years.
7 years. When did y'all first meet? What was that like?
We, I guess, first met about 10 years ago, and it's a unique situation and a unique story. And we both got divorced about the same time, and I was living in Blackwell, Oklahoma, and we had some mutual friends here. And I think she was at the same place I was, as we're never getting married again. And so they were saying, we got somebody we want to set you up with. 3 years down the road later, I moved to Guthrie, and the same person was here. We just happened to run into each other, and the rest is history.
Wait a second. I don't think I knew that story. So y'all had met 3 years prior to you moving to Guthrie?
No, I did not meet her. We just had some mutual friends that wanted to hook us up, and we didn't know who it was.
Okay.
And so 3 years later, down the road, I moved to Guthrie, and we met and had a bunch of friends and colleagues pushing us together. And so I think, God just intervened.
That is super cool. Yeah, no, I don't think I knew that there was some people already trying to connect y'all or thought y'all would be good for each other before y'all even met. That's super cool. That's super cool. So tell us about the first date. Like, do you remember your first date?
Yeah, we went to a Thunder game. I thought Tina was really big into sports because, of course, I love anything sports, especially OSU. And so I asked her to go to a Thunder game. Boy, I thought she was really into sports, and come to find out after we got married, she really doesn't like sports, but she was really good and sold me that Thunder game.
So did she only go because she was just trying to land you, or what?
I guess. She was up and hooping and hollering like Pretty Woman, if you've ever seen that show.
So are you serious? But you did not know until y'all got married. Like, how did you find out?
Oh, just attending the boys' games, and then just down the road looking at different, going to different sporting events and asking, hey, do you want to go to this? And she was, I'm just going to be honest, I'm really not big into sports.
And that's how you found out.
That's how I found out.
Do you still take her though? Like, do you?
So I made the deal with her that she has to go to one OSU football game with me, and so she was able to go to the OSU Texas game this year. And she looked at me. She goes, "This game goes to overtime. I'm really going to be mad. It's already been a 5-hour game."
Oh my goodness! It was a long game. Oh my! And so, but she made it through.
She made it through, and OSU won, and so everybody was happy.
Now we don't want to make this the Tina Ogle podcast talk all about Tina, but just tell us a little bit about Tina. What does she do? She's a teacher. What makes her awesome?
So Tina's, I believe, been in education 22 or 23 years,
Oh my goodness.
and she teaches science. This is the first year she switched over, and instead of teaching seventh grade science, she's teaching STEM, and she's teaching forensic science and medical detectives, and the kids are loving it. I've had a chance to go over and be part of some of her class. They were actually the doctors diagnosing me. I had to give them my symptoms, and so they had to get back with me, and part of their deal was they had to email me what my symptoms were. And so I think hopefully some of those kids are in that class will lead to some projects in science and STEM, especially in that forensic class.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Cool. Now, I want you to finish the sentence. Moving to Guthrie, America
It's been very rewarding. It was a change that I needed, and I think God put me in a place for me to be successful.
When you think about it, Guthrie, and living here, like what are some things that you probably would tell other people that stands out to you, that the reason why you enjoy it and love it?
So this one's very easy for me because I'm out recruiting teachers all the time. And so when we go to the career fairs, one of the things I always tell them is Guthrie is a small town. Still have that small town feeling. Everybody comes together when there's an emergency. We always, of course, have all the festivities that we have and everybody's out. And so sell them on that. And I also sell them is, hey, if you want to get out and do something, there's always something to do in Guthrie. And so whether that's going down to the antique malls that are downtown, the concerts that we have, or any just the activities that are always going around in town.
Yep. Now, all the great things. So you have to kind of sell teachers on that quite a bit. And then when they get here, because I've been around some of the teachers who do end up getting here, and they seem to really find that what you say is true and really enjoy it. Tell people what you do. Like, why are you out recruiting teachers?
So I'm the assistant superintendent and in charge of human resources. And so one of the things that my job duty does is I have to get out and go to the career fairs and get teachers to come to Guthrie. And so during our exit surveys we've been doing the last 4 or 5 years is we try to find out, why people are leaving. And one of the things we notice, if we can get people to move to Guthrie, they stay.
Yeah.
And so it's the people that live, outside and commute in that, there may be a job that's closer to them. But if we can get them to Guthrie, they love it and they'll end up staying and retiring with us.
Come on and move to Guthrie, America, teachers. Come on. You need any teachers right now?
No, we're actually full right now. And so we're doing good, knock on wood.
Yeah. Hopefully I didn't just ruin something. He's going to call me next week and be like, Heady, you ruined it for us. So how would your friends describe you, the ones that you grew up with? How would your closest friends describe Doug Ogle?
Well, I think the ones that I grew up with would say he's a comedian, always joking, but loyal, sports fanatic, just love being around sports and love being outdoors.
Now, growing up, being a comedian, did you play sports or just love watching them?
No, I played sports.
What sports what's your favorite?
Basketball.
Did you play it all the way through high school?
All the way through high school.
What position?
Guard.
Tell us your most memorable game.
My most memorable game, let's see. I'm trying to think about that, was probably at Hera. We were in the playoffs, and it was one of those things. It was a back-forth game. We ended up coming from behind and winning and just being a part of that team. And it was probably the first time being a part of a team that was able to come back and do that and have success. Seminole's a big football town, and so having success with basketball, it kind of turned everybody into just a sports town.
Yeah. No, that's good. Now, what was do you remember – what did y'all used to do the things in basketball? What do they call it? Where you run to touch the line, go back, go run, touch the line, go back. Did y'all have to do those? Was that the thing that you hated the most in basketball? Seems like all my friends who play basketball hated those. What were they called?
Suicides. But no, I didn't mind the suicides. I didn't like the stairs.
Oh, stairs. Every gym has stairs, so you got to run stairs. What did you do to cheat on the stairs?
I didn't cheat. I wasn't very athletic, so I needed to make sure that I did everything I could to get on the floor, and so I was impressing those coaches as much as I could.
You say you did every stair. There was no cheating on the stairs because you was trying to make sure that you got on the floor. So was it hard? So okay, that's a great point. Maybe wasn't the most athletic, but by putting in hard work, you were able to eventually get on the floor.
Yeah, and so it was. We were very athletic. Had some huge guys on my high school team, and so just being able to put in that extra work. My high school coach still very good friends. In fact, he was building a house in Edmond. Probably, I think I just moved here, so it'd been 9 years ago, and he needed a place to stay, and he actually stayed with me for a month while his house was being finished. And so, one of those things that you make friends and you have those role models, and Coach McKay was one of mine.
That is super cool. Now, I also know that you coached, right? And then you have a player, an ex-player now that's been doing well or has done well over the years. Tell me about that relationship. What's that been like?
Well, I coached for 12 years, and so it was very rewarding. It was a tough call for me to get out. I just felt that it was the right time. The player you're talking about is Jared Reese. It's at Kingfisher. I coached Jared Reese from, I think he was the first athlete that I met when I actually walked into the gym. He was a seventh grader. And so we have just been super close. I was his best man in his wedding. When I decided to get out, Jared had just finished college and had been my assistant for a couple of years. And so I knew that I was going to leave the program in good hands. And so I stepped down, became assistant principal and athletic director, and Jared took over for me. We left at the same time. He went to Kingfisher and I came to Guthrie. And since then, I think that he's won 5 or 6 state championships at Kingfisher, and I think ranked number 1 again this year. And so I think what I always tell him is he learned from all the mistakes that I've made, and it's made him a great coach. And so, but no, we still talk once or twice a week, and he's doing great things over in Kingfisher.
What makes him a great coach, you think?
I think he just really relates to the players. When he played for me, he was an offensive player and he could really score. I think he was second in the state. He averaged almost 28, 29 points a game. Azubuike, that went to Kentucky, was the leading scorer. But Jared didn't like to play much defense. But if you go watch his teams now, they can really cover. And so I think he was able to take the offensive side that he had and the defensive stuff that we did. And so it's made him a complete coach.
That's cool. Now, growing up in Seminole, correct?
Correct.
A little bit smaller than Guthrie, but what are some things that you would say are similar in a way, Guthrie and Seminole, where you grew up at?
Well, one, we just talked about it, is they're both football towns. They really, on Friday nights, you're going to go and everybody's going to be there. There's nobody at home. But very blue collar, kind of the same way, bedroom community. Didn't have a lot of businesses. We moved there in 82 from Missouri, and that was just kind of right there with the oil, bust. And so just wasn't a lot of businesses there, but everybody really rallied around each other. And so that's kind of the same thing I think about with Guthrie is, a lot of people, there's not a lot of jobs necessarily here in town, but when everybody gets back from work, they're always at the same place. And whether that's a civic event, churches, or a sporting event.
Yeah, good. Would you ever move back to Seminole?
My mom still lives there, and at one time I thought I would, but looking back, I think I found where I want to stay.
Yeah, that's good. We would lock you up anyway, so you can't leave Guthrie. Tell me about probably one of your most favorite moments being in GuthrieAmerica.
Well, I remember when Dr. Simpson called and asked if I'd be interested in a job, and he said one of the things that was on his plate was trying to pass a bond issue. They'd failed 10 straight bond issues, and so took that as a challenge. And so watching the community come together and being able to pass the first bond issue, and saw, firsthand how excited the community was, seeing kids with their parents out there on the corners the day before the bond issue, that day of the bond issue, holding signs. I think that meant a lot to me, just showing that the community valued education, which I've been in for 27 years. And so that really sold me on the community.
Yeah. In your role, Does that make it easier when you see those kind of things pass? Like, how does that help you in your job?
Well, when I'm going out and trying to get teachers that are looking for jobs, one of the things I can say is, hey, we've been successful passing our last few bonds. Here's the school that we just built. Here's the property that we just bought to be proactive. We're going to build a new elementary here. And we've just passed another bond issue to replace one of our elementary schools. And so showing that the community is behind education, that's one of the first things a lot of the teachers ask now is, can you tell me what the community is going to do for us? And so just showing, hey, we passed the bonds. We have a great relationship with the chamber. We have great businesses that actually go into the school and are going to, give you all kinds of gifts and show love on you. And so just very appreciative of all of those things.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Now, moving into Guthrie, sometimes it can be challenging moving into a new place and having to make new friends or whatever the case may be. What would be some of your tips on how to gain relationships in positive ways moving into a new town? And what are some things that you did to do that here in Guthrie?
Well, I think it's like anything. You just have to be involved. And one of the things, my first year I was the junior high principal and I wasn't able to get out as much. And then I was able to get a promotion, move into executive director of personnel at the admin office, which allowed me to get out in the community and being more involved in the chamber and some of the other organization. Was able to be on the YMCA board. And so just getting out and being able to go to chamber coffees, meet people, establish relationships, you're going to get what you get and give. And so one of the things I always tell everybody is get involved. It doesn't matter if you're getting involved in a church, you're getting involved in chamber, getting involved, being on some type of board for the city, but get out and get involved and meet people.
That's good. Get out and get involved. What's one of your most favorite things to be involved with? I mean, I'm sure they're all great, but which one's your favorite?
Well, I can tell you the thing I'm most proud about. After I was able to get involved with the chamber, I was very involved with the Blackwell Chamber, and we were able to start Leadership Guthrie. And so I know they've had it in the past. I think that it had been 8 or 9 years since they had actually had it. So we got that started back. I think this is our 5th year. And so doing really great things with that. We've had, we usually try to keep between 16 and 18 people going through the class. It's a August through May class. We meet once a month and go through different topics of what Guthrie has to offer. And so just being able to get and meet people that way and then get them involved and try to challenge them to get into leadership roles. And so some of the people that have been through that are now on city council. I have a school board member. I joke with him. I said, now you're my boss.
After going through Leadership Guthrie, you can become Doug's boss. That's super cool, man. And don't they do projects as well? We do projects. Like I went through the first one, I think that you did, and then everybody does a project. How has that been, and why do y'all do that?
So we want the class to have a project to put their stamp on it. And so we've had classes have had some really good ones. We had a mentoring program that they did for a group of students at the high school. And so they were able to go and meet with them. And so I know that the class, I think it was last year, one of the students came up to Miss Walters, and that was one of Miss Walters that had, she's our elementary director, and was able to go through Leadership Guthrie and just said, hey, I remember you from class. And so they had a good conversation. So just, those memories that she made right there doing that.
Yeah.
But we've done some other projects of being able to help just around the community, whether it's, to God's Food Bank or the project that we're working on right now is trying to do a bench.
That's good. Yeah. I was somewhere in one of the students, there was a student, I can't remember what year that was. But anyway, he was like, hey, I met you through the mentorship program that y'all did at the high school, whatever the case may be. Was that the year that I was there? Somehow I was involved with it in some way, but I thought it was really cool that and you sometimes think you do these things and like they'll never remember, like I'm just wasting my time. But then you see them and they tell you like, hey, that made a difference or whatever the case may be is really cool. Now you've been to a few towns, Seminole, Blackwell, right? Where else? Stillwater. You spent some time in Stillwater.
Spent some time in Stillwater.
You're OSU grad, and but One of the things when I talk to people about Guthrie who may have left and no longer live here, but are from here, whatever, or moved here and came here, they talk about the homecoming. In the towns that you're from, was homecoming as big of a deal as it is here in Guthrie?
So from Seminole, I would say that the homecoming was, it was big just for the Friday night football game and the parade.
Yeah.
Blackwell was huge. They had the classes come back like Guthrie does. And so I would say, Guthrie and Blackwell know how to do a homecoming.
Yeah.
They're both, a lot of people come back. They look forward at market. We get phone calls as soon as homecoming is over. Hey, when's homecoming going to be next year? Because those classes are already ready.
Yeah.
That happened in both places I was at. And so, which is really good. We're always glad to see those kids. And I've been here now long enough. I've had some of those kids that when I was the principal that have now graduated and, they've had their 5-year reunion, and seeing them come back and the success that they've had and what they're doing in life. It's always neat.
That's cool. With the homecoming, like, how does the school, what role does your administration play in how homecoming is shaped? Or is that done by the students and teachers? What does that look like?
So really the student council runs most of the homecoming festivities. Really administration, the only thing that we have is trying to get Coach Beebe and Dr. Simpson on the which game is it going to be. I think 2 years ago, we had it the next to last game of the regular season, and we got a little bit lucky. The rain held off, but it was a little bit cold. And of course, if you have it too early, it's too hot.
Yeah.
So, trying to find that perfect mix of, the time, date, and trying to get that opponent where we're not bringing somebody that would normally bring a big crowd anyway, because that stand's going to be full.
Yeah.
And so when we look at that, we try to find maybe somebody that's going to have to travel farther. So they may not bring as many people, so we can get everybody in the stands.
I did not know that. That's cool. I never even thought about those things having to come in place whenever you're thinking about homecoming. Is that with most places, some of those same lines of thought as far as how they do their homecoming, maybe?
Yeah, most of the time you're going to look for somebody that may not travel as much because if you have a huge homecoming, that a lot of people are going to be back, and you don't want to turn people away. And so you don't want to have your arch rival for homecoming because they're going to bring tons of people anyway.
No Carl Albert for homecoming.
No. I think if I suggested that, Kelly'd run me out of town.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, homecoming is. So, do you have a parade spot? So, whenever there's a parade in town, do you have a spot that you go to when you're not part of it, I guess?
So, for the homecoming parade, we're always across from the junior high, and so my wife is able just to get right out, go across and set up. But for 89ers parade, we're about halfway down the block right there across. From Jeannie Woodard's accounting, and we sit right there. And so sometimes she runs me off if I get there too early and put my chairs out. But usually Kenton Watson and Danny Watson, they always get there early and have spots. And so we've watched most of the parades there with them.
That's cool. That's cool. So YMCA, you on the council of the YMCA. Recently, this says, if you're listening to this, and I don't know when you listen to it, but this is 2022. We're in November. And the reason I say that is because November 1st, 24-hour YMCA here in GuthrieAmerica. Tell me about that and what's exciting about that for you.
Well, it's exciting just because there's certain times that maybe I'm at a meeting or something and can't get there during normal hours. Now, I have to say I haven't started yet, but I did see that you had actually been in there working out, and at least one time because you had one Facebook post about it. But no, I think that's, one of the things that being on the board is, we were losing some people membership-wise because we were not able to compete when people could just go when they needed to and work around their schedules. And so as a board, we were able to talk to the upper management at the YMCA and just say, hey, for our community, we think this would be very successful. And so we hope that people will take advantage of that, sign up. And so you're able to go get your workout. You can get some discounts if you have kids that are, playing sports or any of the activities. So I think after school. So if you're part of all that, you get a big discount. And so we're hoping this can be very beneficial.
Yeah. No, I've actually been there several times after the hours. I use my app and everything. It's pretty cool. But you know what? I was I went on Thanksgiving Day, and man, it was like 15, 16 people in there. I think that's the day that I posted the picture, actually. And I was super surprised. I was like, okay, because we wouldn't have had that if we didn't have the 24-hour setup, and so I'm really interested in what that's going to look like. One of the reasons that I think that that's cool, and hopefully it draws more people, is because you're not going to get another gym, especially in Guthrie, where we have so many curricular activities for their kids. I mean, we have basketball, we have soccer, things of that nature.
Yeah, in trying to get kids out and get them off their phones and off the Game Boys and stuff now, and getting them active is always a plus. And if we can get them involved, I think it's going to help our sports teams here at the school level, but also gives kids a chance to get out and make friends. And so with COVID, a lot of parents didn't feel comfortable with kids being around each other, and so just getting out now and with that opportunity to get a gym membership and being able to get those discounts and get them on teams. I hope they take advantage of that.
Yeah, and after school programs as well. The Y provides at a couple of different schools. What do they have? Fogarty, Charter Oak?
Yeah, we do it at Fogarty and Charter Oak. And, a lot of our people, like we discussed earlier, that, they may work in Oklahoma City and not get off, and they don't want their kids to go home to an empty house. And so we're able to have a spot out at Charter Oak and a spot here in town for those kids. And so we've actually, I think we're full at one of them, and I have a couple, 2 or 3 spaces at the other one. So the program's been very beneficial, both for the school and for the YMCA.
Gotcha. Now, let's kind of talk about books. You are a book reader. Have you always been a book reader, or when did you start being an advocate for because now you don't have to read them, right? I guess you could say you have to so you continue to grow or whatever, but you don't have to. Have you always been a reader?
No. In fact, my mom laughs at me when I talk about reading because I did not like school. I liked math, but I did not like English, and I definitely did not like to read. But I think, really when I started getting into the leadership, my wife and I, when we go on trips, she laughs at me because I'm over there reading leadership books, and so she's over there reading murder mysteries, and so complete opposite. But I love to be able to find new ways to help people become a better leader, and so getting involved in reading books and seeing how people are being successful doing that, I think just challenges me more to be able to go out, especially in Leadership Guthrie, and get more leaders for our community.
Yeah. What's been your favorite here of late? What's probably been a book that's been your favorite, you would think?
Anything John Gordon. I reread The Energy Bus I think about 3 weeks ago. It's one of his first successful books, just trying to get everybody on board. And I think that I needed something to help me get going because it seems like it's just kind of been negative lately. Yeah. And so one of the things in that book is getting rid of the vampires that just zap all the energy. And so I went back. It's an easy read. You can probably read it in about 3 or 4 hours if you just sit down and read it all the way through. And so just went back and read that book. But anyway, that was probably the last book that I went back and reread, and Christmas is getting around the corner, so I've got a few that I've asked Tina for Christmas.
Oh, not all John Gordon.
No, I get some John Maxwell books, okay, and just any leadership books. But
gotcha. What favorite John Maxwell book?
Oh, I don't know if I really have one. He has so many of those ones with, the 5 different leadership styles or 10 different leadership styles. And so I just like to read and see what's changed in his, you know. And so I don't know that I don't have a favorite of that
for
one.
John.
Yeah.
Now, as a leader, somebody who serves people in your role, what are some of the key things that you feel like help you be a great leader?
Well, I think you just have to be honest with people. And so one of the things going through and reading those books is, they talk about those hard conversations that you have to have, but people are going to relate more to you. They may not like what you have to say, but if you're honest with them, they're always going to know that you're there for them. They may not get what they want to hear, but they're going to know that this is what you think.
Yeah. No, that's good. Tell me about the difference between being in a classroom, principal, and then in your current role. Like, what are some of the key differences in those?
Well, in the classroom, you're right there. You're making a difference in the lives of kids. And that's one of the things that when I stepped out from coaching that I missed was just being that interaction with the kids. As a principal, you're kind of getting both worlds. You're getting to work with the teachers and helping them grow, but you still get to see the students as well and attend events. In my role now is it's more or less I don't get to see kids unless I can get out, get in the classroom. It's hard for me to build those relationships with them, but I'm building relationships with teachers and principals, helping them grow. And so my role now is working with the secondary principals, and I try to get into some classrooms when I can. But the big difference is, now I'm dealing more with adults.
Yeah. And those adults are in return investing back into the students. So you still get to invest in the students, just not directly in the way that you were in the classroom. Do you ever think, has there ever been somebody who went to your role, but then is like, I'm going back to the classroom? Like, has there ever even been a idea in your mind, or once you get to the place that you're at now, it would be hard to go back?
I don't know. I'm sure there are. I don't have any that came top of my mind, but I do know several people that have got in administration and then found maybe some smaller schools that they could be in administration and still coach because, they found that love that they were missing and they were able to do both. Uh-huh. And so I do have several friends that have been able to do that. But like I said, the biggest thing of mine is I just love being around kids. And mm-hmm. so I do miss that. I try to get in the classrooms. I'd love to be able, my goal is to try to get into one or two classrooms each week and spend, a class period in there just seeing what they're doing. But sometimes when you're dealing with personnel, things come up and you're not able to get out as much as you'd like.
Yeah. Going back to books, have you read Crucial Conversations?
I have not.
I'm going to send that to you. Do you do digital or do you do only paper?
I only do paper.
What?
I need to catch up with the times, don't I?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything. Okay, we'll send you some paper. So you went to OSU, okay? Lived in Stillwater. What? Tell us some of your favorite. Or tell me one favorite OSU moment.
Well, I was very fortunate when I was at Seminole Junior College for 2 years. Bill Self, which is coach at KU now, but was an assistant at OSU, was recruiting a player named Fred Burley. And so
Fred Burley, wow.
One of the things that I remember Coach Self saying was, well, Doug, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to coach. And he said, well, you need to come to OSU. We got what we think is going to be a Hall of Fame coach. And Coach Sutton had only been there 1 year. And I said, really, you'll get me on at OSU? And so I was able to make that connection. And so I was able to go to OSU, and I was a manager there. And so, of course,
you went to Seminole, then you left and went to OSU?
Yeah, so I finished my 2 years at Seminole Junior College, and then was able to go to OSU and was able to get a scholarship as a student manager for the men's basketball team, and so was able to do that. And I was very fortunate, was able to be on the bench at the Final Four in '95.
Wow. So do you have a picture or any video of you, any news capturing you going crazy or anything?
Oh, yeah, I got some videos, I got some pictures, and one thing I always teased Dr. Simpson, he was a manager too, but I said, I got that Final Four ring. Let me see yours.
So did you get a ring too?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple.
Nice. That's cool. Where do you have them at?
I think one of them is safety deposit box, and then the other one's just in my jewelry box there at the house.
Do you ever put them on?
No, not very often. They're big, and I don't like to wear those big old clunky rings.
That's cool. That's a pretty cool experience. Do you still have any relationships with any of those people?
Well, yeah. One thing that Coach Sutton did is he made sure that we were a family. And so I'm on a group text with all my managers. There was 5 of us, including me. And so we're always on a group text. I think we text every day. And so... And then they always have a basketball alumni weekend every year. We all go back for that. And so some of them, the alumni are, way older than I am, but it's always one big family, and we go back. And so just being part of something and that's probably why I love OSU the most is it is one big family. Yeah. And so, no, I definitely love my time in Stillwater.
Well, of course, Sutton is a great. He's a legend. What did you walk away with? Like, what's one thing? Sound like just the opportunity or how he cultivated family was great. Anything else you walked away with?
Well, just responsibility. I know that he had some things in his life that didn't go the way that he wished they would have, and he made some choices he could take back if he could. But he held us responsible just like he did the players. He had people check on us to make sure we were going to class, and he had a thing that was called 5 and 5. And if you messed up, you ran 5 miles at 5 in the morning. And so that went for the students and that went for the managers. And so when those athletes messed up, and if we didn't go to class as well, we were up running 5 miles at 5 in the morning. And so I think, just that accountability is that we're not that star player that's out there, maybe going to go to the NBA. We're just out there to help them be successful. But he said, no, if you're going to be part of this family, this is what you're going to have to do. And so holding us all responsible to the same settings, I guess, as you would say, as they are.
That's awesome. 5 at 5.
5 at 5.
Did you ever have to run a 5 at 5?
Doug had to do it one time, and he learned his lesson. Don't skip class, because I don't like to run.
You skipped class, he got caught? Oh my goodness. 5. Well, where did you have to meet at? Was this at the track, or where did you have to run?
So we met there at Gallagher Iba, and then we actually ran. It was cold that day, so we actually ran downstairs. That's when there was a track. There was an indoor track downstairs, and so we ran downstairs.
How many of y'all was there?
Oh, I think there was probably about half the team, and I think all of us managers got in trouble so we were all there.
That is so funny. That's really cool that you all, because how many years ago was this for you?
Well, I graduated in 95 from OSU.
Okay. Yeah. And so this is a lot of years ago, and that's super cool that y'all still have a group text going and being able to talk and just run things by each other, or just continue to keep that connection is really cool. Now, I know a little bit about some of the cool stuff that you've been a part of, like Leadership Guthrie, being a part of the chamber, the YMCA, and all these things, and then just being a part of the school and passing the school bonds and things of that nature. What do you say to people when you hear Choose Guthrie? Well, what does that mean to you?
Well, to me, Choose Guthrie means that you're bought in, that when you go out, you're going to represent Guthrie. And so whether that is you're going to go to the local grocery store, you're going to go to a event that's, maybe it's the Bluegrass Festival, but you're out there supporting Guthrie when it may not be your thing. I'm not a bluegrass person, but if I have a chance and I'm in town, I need to get out to bluegrass. And so people see me out in the community and know that that's important to me, because it's important to them, because that may be something they really love.
Yeah.
And so supporting events so they can be successful, even though it may not be something that I would normally do, but we need to make the events that we have be successful, draw people in, and it's going to help our businesses as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's good. Doug, any final words?
No, I just appreciate everything you do, Heady, for the community. I know that you're very involved. When we first met, we were working at the chamber, and we were trying to raise money because the chamber was broke, and we've got the chamber rolling, and Brittany's doing a great job. And our community is it's thriving, and people are moving to Guthrie. I think Dr. Simpson told me the other day that I can't remember, but I was wanting to say there was 300 homes that are platted, and just trying to get the material to build those. And so people are wanting to come to Guthrie. And so the community's doing a great job, and I think it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, man, thank you so much, and I appreciate all that you're doing. And sometimes a lot of what you do is behind the scenes, and people just don't know it, but you are killing it, and I appreciate our friendship and relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is GuthrieAmerica podcast, where we are on a mission to have every story told. Will yours be next?